All right, folks. How's everyone doing out there today? This Gold-Pilled here with the Gold-Pilled stream. It's been a little over, well, probably 2 weeks over a month since my last video, and I just been busy with IRL. So, I don't have much planned, but I just wanted to touch base with my small subscriber base and I'll kind of give you an update and talk a little bit about some current events going on in the alternative media slash truther movement. But to kick off here, I've still been working on my car and taking up my time. I think my last video I did a mystery box car edition. Well, turns out I got that mystery box term from Devon with Blackpilled, and I actually got it wrong. He refers to things that people don't know how they work. They just half know how to turn them on and use them. But he calls them magic boxes. I mistakenly thought it was a mystery box, but no, it's magic boxes. So I'm not sure if I'll start calling them magic boxes or stick with mystery boxes. I haven't decided, but so yeah, my car. I explained how I was doing the front suspension, and then went to get it aligned and had to do a whole suspension rebuild. I got it aligned, and wouldn't you know, it wasn't 7 days after I got all that taken care of. I go out there and oh, there's a big pile of antifreeze leaking out from under the car. My water pump was starting to go bad. So I had to tear the water pump off, replace that, replace the thermostat while I was at it, uh, do everything that entails, which is a pain in the butt on my particular car, which is a 7th gen Chevy Malibu. It was a good learning experience, though. Definitely a good learning experience. Uh, Doing that job on the Magic Box and having to work around the engine. Um, it was pretty tricky. The water pump's timing chain driven, so in order to take it off, you have to lock the water pump sprocket in place so the timing chain doesn't move, or you throw your whole engine out of whack and have to get it retimed. So I managed to do that successfully, get it all taken care of, and got a nice brand new Gates water pump in there. And while I was doing that job, I had to get, behind the engine. I took the heat shield off my exhaust manifold, and lo and behold, there's a big fat crack going right down the middle of the exhaust manifold. So I got to replace the exhaust manifold. And prior to that, I found two bolts laying around loose in the car, one months ago and one when I was doing the water pump. And they're the exhaust manifold bolts. So two of them are busted off. So when I go to do the manifold, I have to somehow get those broken bolts out in order to get the manifold to seal right when I put the new one on. Yeah, and that's probably going to be a PETA, pain in the ass. I got some good heavy duty easy outs, so hopefully I can use those and get them out with not too much difficulty without drilling and tapping the holes, because where they're located, it's kind of a tricky spot. It's not super tight area, but it's tight enough where you're working with a drill to keep it straight to try and drill and tap. So hopefully the easy outs work. Um, I In the process of this, I found a very good product for penetrating oil. If anybody does any work, they know penetrating oil. Spray on rusted up, corroded, galled bolts and hardware, and it soaks in, loosens up the rust, frees the metal to metal friction. Well, I came across a product from Seafoam brand, and the product was called Deep Creep, and it's supposedly one of the best penetrating oils out there. So I got 2 cans of that on Amazon because it was a little bit pricey. And my initial tests of it seems to live up to the name. So I've been spraying all the exhaust hardware bolts with it, been spraying the manifold studs and bolts with it. So hopefully that stuff does the job. And when I go to do the manifold, the bolts and studs come off easy. I'm able to get the two broken ones out, get the rest of the exhaust bolts out. Because on my car, the exhaust manifold comes off your block, and it has a catalytic converter attached right to the manifold. It's welded on there. So I had to get that whole unit. And then it goes from that manifold converter to a flex pipe that bends down underneath your car, and that attaches to a second catalytic converter. So I have to replace all that down to the second catalytic converter. My current flex pipe's kind of okay, but the flanges are all rusted and whatnot, and it's a little bit of rough shape. So I'm just going to replace that because it was semi-cheap enough. I got these parts on eBay, which are actually priced very well. And the reason my manifold is cracked, this is a known issue with the 7th Gen Malibus, it's because the catalytic converters get clogged up and they can't dissipate the exhaust fast enough, and it builds back pressure of heat. And when that heat builds up, it cracks your manifold. And that's also why the two studs and bolts broke off, because of the heat buildup. It weakened them, made them brittle, and they broke. So I'm going to replace all the studs because I don't know, the other ones are probably weak. But it's because of the catalytic converter. Most likely, it's mainly due to the one attached to the manifold. The second catalytic converter, I'm not sure if that's part of the getting plugged up. But what I'm going to do with the new one, because if you just throw a new manifold converter on there, it's going to do the exact same thing. And I've read online it can happen in a year or less. It can do it again and clog up. So I'm going to gut the catalytic converters. The one on the manifold, I'm going to clean it out so there's nothing in there to get clogged. And then I'm going to clean the second one out so there's nothing in there to get clogged. And that should be that. It won't have any more cracked manifolds. So I got all the parts, just waiting on the studs. I think I'm getting them today, and then beginning of next week here, I'm going to start on that. So that's my magic box, still working. And if you do do-it-yourself projects like that, you'll find out that usually when you go and start one job, you end up finding other things that are wrong. So it kind of goes from one thing to the other to the other. This whole process with me doing the work on my car, it all started with me just changing the brake pads on the front tires. Just a simple brake pad job. And it's evolved to everything that I've done. Even the water pump. I said I did the water pump. Well, after that, I did the rear calipers, because the calipers were non-functional in the rear. And I had purchased them in the beginning when I got the struts. I just haven't had time because it was one thing after the other that needed attention first. So I finally got time and I did the rear calipers. So yeah, all that work just started with simple brake pad job. But after this manifold, I should be in the clear and the car should be running great. Because it's running great now, but the crack in the manifold, messing with the oxygen sensor readings, causes a little bit of puttering and stuff here and there because of the fuel enrichment ratio. So I get this taken care of. It should run like a new car. So can't wait to get that done, but it takes up your time in real life. Plus it's summer, and just doing stuff with my twins. So all right, let's talk about some current events. And I'm going to talk about the topic that gets the most attention on my channel, because if I talk about anything not related to this. It barely gets any views, but Alex Jones. Whenever I talk about Alex Jones or anything related to him, I get the most views and most attention on my channel. And it's kind of sad because people just love Alex Jones. They can't see him on a gold-pilled level. And I don't know how at this point. Like, I don't know if it's they don't want to see him, but the evidence is out there. It's so plain as day that Alex Jones is a complete fraud. He is not a part of the truth movement because he wants to legitimately help us real truthers. He is an intelligence asset. The evidence is out there. It's easy enough to find. And the evidence towards him being an intelligence asset, I would say, is rather overwhelming to where you could probably bet money on it. So, what's the latest with Alex Jones? Well, it's the Sandy Hook trial. And in my opinion, this whole trial is nothing but a sham trial. And I'm getting real tired if anybody watches Jason Burmis out there, the info warrior that kind of got his popularity start working with Alex Jones. Because Alex produced the loose change thingy that Jason did. He calls himself the info warrior, connection to InfoWars. Well, I'm so sick of him running defense and running cover for Alex Jones. He acts like he's dumb and clueless as to what Alex is. Oh, he's just an honest guy. He's an honest guy like all the rest of us. Bullshit, Burmis. If you can't see, the evidence out there, just like I said, the evidence is out there, and you know him on a more intimate detail than others, you should clearly know something's up with him. So, it's very highly likely that Burmis is just more IIA operations. He's just a spin-off from Jones getting his mystery check each month to do whatever. Excuse me. I still got the messed up lungs, even though it's been a couple months since I quit smoking. My lungs are still in rough shape. But, so if I cough, excuse me. But yeah, Burmis. He's always tugging on Jones's coattails. And it's not because he's just using him for popularity and notoriety and stuff. It's because he's kind of running cover for him like an operation. And I always kind of give him crap for doing it. And he likes to talk about the signature reduction and stuff like that. Well, he's part of it. And, one of the, clues to this is, he seems like a relatively smart individual, but certain things he's so dumb about. Number one is not seeing Alex and the evidence for what it is. Two is he's always harping on, the signature reduction, the secret army that's out there, doing the propaganda and twisting the narratives. Well, he references that same article I covered. I think it was Newsweek that went into signature reduction. Well, when he talks about signature reduction, he explains it like that's the name of the program. The IIA operations. Well, he calls that program signature reduction. He's like, it's the program signature reduction that, they have the people that do this and do that. Did you even read that article, Burmis? That is not what it said, and that's not what signature reduction is. So there, he's either dumb and clearly didn't comprehend the article, or he's just spinning his narrative of it that, he wants to spin. And signature reduction is just like the industry surrounding IA operations. It's the infrastructure, the framework, all the supporting roles that allows IIA to play out. The businesses, the just everything that allows them to carry IIA operations out is what they're referring to as signature reduction. So Burmis has that completely wrong, but he talks about it all the time. And he just had a video covering the trial of Jones, and he's like, oh, they're ruining him, and I guess they've awarded $50 million so far against Alex Jones, and they're like, he doesn't have any money, and blah, blah, blah. Well, the information's come out in that trial that back in 2018, kind of the height of the Trump train, Jones was making $800,000 a day at that period. Jones has made a killing, multi-million dollars, probably hundreds of $1,000,000. But is that his money? That's another question. Well, I think we're going to see a clip. I have a Brendan O'Connell video I'm going to got a little clip from, and O'Connell claims that Steve Pieczenik and the other higher-ups, they're actually the owners of the LLC companies surrounding Alex Jones. And part of that is the whole nutraceutical business that Jones has, the Brain Force and whatever else he sells. That's owned by Pieczenik. The Mike Adams Health Ranger, his whole thing in business is all owned, with the Steve Pieczenik crowd. So all those LLCs they have are all owned, by higher ups. So, is any of them multi-million dollars theirs, that they're raking in? Probably not. They probably get a little cut of it, but it's probably going to the higher people with power. These are all just frontmen. And like I said, there's so much evidence to show that Alex Jones is an intelligence asset designed to ruin, the real truth movement and steer it in whatever direction they want. And it's because when you're part, of the clique, when you're playing ball, they allow you to get rich. They allow you, to reap the benefits, of stardom, so to say, or celebrity status. And Jones is clearly an example of that. He's getting rich off all this stuff. And, and then he acts like he has no money in the court trials. Well, they hid it. He was trying to hide money in LLCs. I'm sure he has. He had a lot of money, so they don't got to pay out. Excuse me, guys. Good thing is sometimes I get a coughing fit, or I get an itch in my throat and it won't go away for about 20 minutes, so I cough nonstop. Luckily, that's not happening. I'd have to stop. But yeah, but the thing is, Jones isn't going to have to pay any of this money because, like I said, this trial, I almost guarantee this trial is a sham trial, meaning it's fake, so to say. Not meaning, it's fake, but it's a fake sham trial. They're putting this on purpose. It's been orchestrated, I guess you could say. They demonized him with the SH, shooting, and now they're having this trial, put it out in the public spotlight and show, what a bad boy Alex Jones has been. Let's discredit the real truth movement even more. And then, let's award all this money and let's show everybody you don't speak out against the narratives or this is going to happen to you. And, it's not hard for them to put on an orchestrated show trial like this. The people in power could easily, hey, we're going to do this trial. They file the motion to get it started. They appoint the judge who's playing ball. And, the attorneys, the DAs, they all play ball. And you can have a legitimate trial, but it's a show trial. Whether Alex will actually pay any of this money or not, who knows? But that money's all theirs anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's just it's it's just more in-depth IIA operations. You know, they're not going to allow any legitimate truth movement to have any success. You know, they will infiltrate it and ruin it any way they can. And considering how deep of an intel agent Jones is, I have no other conclusion that this is a show trial. Like I said, they kicked him off YouTube. He was the beginning of the censorship on YouTube. They kicked him off. Oh, Alex is telling the truth because they kicked him off YouTube. And then they followed with other people and the demonetizing. And that just gained them credibility in truthers' eyes. Oh, they got censored, so they must be true. They must be speaking truth. No, yeah, that's all orchestrated. That's all part of the IA operations. What happened when they got censored? They just moved to another platform and set up shop. And those other platforms, most likely, most of them, majority, if not all, are probably intelligence created, just new homes for them to go. And it's the world is a stage and they're putting on theater. Almost everything is orchestrated that they put, in the public view for public perception to steer the narrative and to make you believe what they want you to believe. That's how deep all this is, guys. Probably almost nothing or almost anything you see is out there intentionally to steer a narrative. And it's hard to think that everything is this deep, but that's the gold-pilled level of thinking, and it's the reality. I've given plenty of evidence that, they have the control and manipulation of people's minds and their thinking. I put forth enough on here so far that, if you're a higher intellectual individual, it should be clicking, or, you should starting to click in your head, he might be on to something here. So, old Alex Jones. Oh, poor Alex. And then, if you pay attention to any of the court proceedings, it's just a joke. I just seen the video yesterday. I don't know if it was Adam Green covering him, but Alex's lawyers, they accidentally sent all of his text message data to the DA. And then when the DA acknowledged they got this, his lawyer could have did a motion of like protection or something, being that, oh, it was a mistake. You weren't supposed to get this. We want this protected. And then it would have protected it. Even though they might have read it, they wouldn't be able to use it. Well, his lawyer didn't even do that. They accidentally sent it to the DA. And then when, confronted about it, they were like, nah. They didn't motion for anything. And that left the DA with this data that they could now use against Alex. And they did. And there was something about Alex lied, and they were trying to get him into a perjury charge. So what kind of lawyer does that? And then what kind of lawyer doesn't correct his mistake, after he realizes it? So this whole sham trial, like, that was done on purpose. Like, everything's done on purpose. Everything's orchestrated in this nonsense. So, all right, let's go check out these little videos I got here. Let me remember my hotkeys. Oh, by the way, I've been trying out some VPN services, and I started with ExpressVPN, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. You get a month, 30 days money back, so you can pretty much try it for a month. If you don't like it, you can ask for your money back, which is what I'm going to do. When the month's up, I'm going to get my money back. I just wanted to try it. ExpressVPN is all right. It works pretty good. I mainly got it to try because I wanted to download some torrents from the Pirate Bay, And anything popular, I always get hit with copyright from my ISP, and I don't want to, get kicked off my internet provider because I don't have many in my area. So I quit downloading for a while, but I wanted to start watching the Westworld series to see the predictive programming with AI, artificial intelligence, and robots on there. So I was like, I'm going to try the VPN so I can download these. So I tried Express first, and I tell you what, the downloading of torrents, amazing speed. I think they download faster with the VPN versus my regular internet. So when ExpressVPN's done, I'm going to try NordVPN. They have a 30-day trial you can do, get your money back. I'm going to try them, see how they do. And then when Nord is done, I'm going to try CyberGhost. I think they have 45-day money back you can try. So I'm going to try them then. So I got over 3 months of free VPN that I can get and try. And that will allow me to try the different ones, see which one, works the best. And then I'm probably going to pick one and keep it because I like the disguising my IP address. Not just to keep, what you're looking at private and stuff, but to downloading torrents and stuff. You don't have to worry about any copyright or getting letters from your ISP. And I'm leaning towards going with CyberGhost, mainly because it's the cheapest. That or NordVPN, because it's cheaper. ExpressVPN's kind of pricey, but I don't know if it's more pricey because they're the best or not. I won't know until I try the other ones. But the only issue I've had with Express is at certain times it'll just start disconnecting and reconnecting, disconnecting, reconnecting for whatever reason. And sometimes if I do a computer reset, it kind of fixes it. Sometimes it might do it again. So I don't know what the issue is. I don't know if it's one of the virtual network adapters that it installs gets wonky, but been a little bit of an issue with that. I kind of been disappointed with that actually, because I would expect, ExpressVPN for the price to kind of function almost flawlessly, but so we'll see what how the other ones function. But right now I'm liking the VPN. So anyone out there, you want to keep your IP address hidden, you want to download torrents and not have to worry about them logging you, try VPN. I'm pretty satisfied with it. So, all right, got my screen shared. This is a Brendan O'Connell video here, and he's going to talk a little bit about Alex Jones. And then I'll talk a little bit more about Brendan. He still has some of the best information out there as far as truth movement goes. However, he's still IIA, just like the rest of them. And his narrative, like I said, is to play the game. Play ball. Participate in the political system. The political system is not broken. We can change it. You just gotta vote harder. So, yeah. I'm sorry. System's broke. We're not changing it. And no matter how much we play the game, Brendan, it's not going to change a damn thing. And the most recent criticism I have of him is he just had a video where he was interviewing some New York detective, X, who's running for office in New York. He had him on, and then he had a panel of a bunch of people to ask questions. And this detective, he was a pretty smart guy, he pretty much believed all the issues, Brendan, with the Belt and Road, the Israeli high-tech hijacking, all the stuff, Brendan. This guy was pretty much on board with all of it. But then he comes out and he's there, I'm with Trump 110%. So he's a Trumper. This guy's, a smart individual, sees the real issues, but then he supports Trump 110%. He's the only guy that can change things around. And he was even down talking Ron DeSantis in favor of Trump. Like, oh, DeSantis is this, but he's still, whatever. It's Trump, 110% all the way. What bullshit. Bullshit. That is the IAA narrative that Brendan's pushing here. Play the game. Participate in the political game. Vote. Go on the Republicans. They're the conservatives. They're gonna take our country back. We're gonna make America great again. Just keep voting. Vote harder. All bullcrap. And sadly that works on a lot of people. Trump 110%. I'm sorry, dude, but if you're as smart as you seem you are with all these other things, you can't take 10 minutes. Okay, maybe give it a half hour and research Trump's history and see who Trump is. Mafia'd up to his eyeballs. Blackmailed and owned up to his eyeballs. The dude is no better than anyone else. He is no outsider. He is not on our side. But you're 110% into Trump. This whole truth movement is just getting so pathetic and so frustrating anymore. Like, come on, people. You need to wake the F up. Stop letting this propaganda fucking control your brain. The evidence is out there. And like I'm trying to preach, almost everything that, all content that you're viewing is BS orchestrated to make you think whatever they want you to think. You need to realize that in real time so you can prevent that thinking from seeping in, into your brain. You need to think higher. You need to get gold-pilled. Our game is not winnable, and we're not going to fix things by playing the political game. And even though Brendan is a great source of information, you got to see where he's bullshitting you. Just like Alex Jones. And it's sad that people can't take the next stepping stone past Alex Jones when Alex Jones's stuff is so low IQ. I mean, Alex Jones is low IQ. And the majority of so-called truthers cannot move past that. That's how low IQ people are. Well, I don't know if they're low IQ or they're just so brainwashed and so conditioned that they can't move past it. Or they're just dumb, low IQ. Probably a combination of both. But I just can't believe how that many people are that dumb. Like, it boggles my mind if it's because of low intelligence that people can't move past Alex Jones, because if it is, then we're doomed. We're like Idiocracy. We're never gonna prevail because no one has the intelligence to do so. So, all right, I'm done with ranting on Brendan and his play the game angle. Let's watch this little clip where he talks about Alex Jones, and if this stuff is correct that he's saying about Alex Jones, then it's just more fuel for the fire that Jones is deep intel asset. Brendan claims he's tied up in mafia, which I can see that too, because most of these power rollers, these so-called elite, they're mobbed up, in mafias, and if that's what you want to call their organizations. But yeah, and the fact that Brendan says these details, there's a possibility that they are true, because if Brendan's an IAA asset, just like the rest of them, he could be privy to information like this, from whoever handles him, giving him this information, to put out there. So there's a possibility, what he's claiming with Alex is true. So keep that in mind, when they're connected with, with the controllers, information that they put out there, in their limited hangouts, there's a likelihood that, some of it is true because of the connections they have. So, all right, let's watch the clip.
Meanwhile, Julianne Romanello will hang with General Michael Flynn and Clay Clark, and she will next be on Alex Jones. I said jokingly, I await Julianne Romanello on Alex Jones after she failed to mention Israel once in her little lecture. Lo and behold, what do? I look over here, and we're gonna look at that. Reawaken this Clay Clark. Where is he? Thrive Time. Where is Thrive Time now? Thrive Time is on Alex Jones. There he be. Thrive Time show. Clay Clark. And what does Clay Clark do? Clay Clark likes to do this. Let me get this up for you, just so you know.
So he's saying Clay Clark is part of Alex Jones here. And look at the picture on here. Oh, look, there's old Zelensky, or Zelenko, or whatever, the Jew doctor, Trump's Jew doctor, the one that just died. Whole part of the C-19 rounds that they were making to, talk out. Yep, he's part of there. He was an agent. And this whole Reawaken America tour, any of these high-profile America First, let's reawaken America. All the people that are playing the game that Brendan wants you to play, they are all Intel operations. The Nick Fuentes, I think he's America First or whatever. This Reawaken America with Clay Clark, as Brendan's gonna show you here. All of them, all of these, Trumper conservatives and whatnot. This is all operations. This is all political theater. This is all the left-right divide, to suck you in and make you believe and keep you distracted and occupied and make you think that you have a possibility for change. This is all orchestrated, all by design, and people just get sucked into it. And if you look at all the connections here, the Clay Clark, like I said, with old Burmis, Jason Burmis, he's been loving Clay Clark lately. He's been talking about him with videos. I think Burmis even spoke at one of his Reawaken events. It's all Clay Clark this, Clay Clark. Oh, we love Clay Clark. He's fighting for our conservative values. But just look at the connections. Burmis with Clay Clark. Now Clay Clark's on Alex Jones. And the connections with all that Alex has. And this and that. It's all one big network. One operation network. Playing all this out to control people. As I'm going to show you with the Adam Green video, Alex Jones on January 6th playing the Jeebus card. Alex was in on the January 6th operation to get people to get riled up and then storm the Capitol, which they really didn't storm it, but they were directed to go there, and to enter it. They riled everyone up to go there and flood it with people. And Alex was a major part of that operation. He is an intel asset. He is an intel agent doing what they want him to do to ruin the truth movement. I've already done past videos where Pachenik, all the guests Alex has on playing the Q, Jerome Corsi, the Leo Zagami, where Muslims run the Federal Reserve. Complete bullshit. Alex is on board with all of it. It's the laughing in your face, controlling you. The name InfoWars, information warfare. That is an intelligence term. And that is what his network was named. He's an asset. He's always been an asset. And they've been culminating this for a long time. And it's working beautifully. Because, like I said, the majority of people cannot step past him. And then you'll have the other people. Oh, well, he's done more harm than good for the truth community. Maybe. Yeah, when I first woke up, it was with Alex. And I quickly stepped past him. And then I quickly seen what he was. I'm the minority. There's not many people on my gold-pilled level that are stepping past him. So has he done more harm than good? That's very hard to say. I mean, yeah, he kind of red-pilled people on certain things, but then now they're just purple-pilled trapped, and they look like idiots. So, has he done more harm than good? I don't think so. I think he's done way more harm than any good that, come from him, because the truth community has been so tainted and ruined and ostracized because of him. We look like idiots, like schizophrenics, um, like we have psychological issues. He's even claimed that. His buddy Rogan, another asset, has claimed that. Um, it's they're demonizing us, and eventually, the real truthers, we're gonna get whittled out, and our fellow brothers and sisters out there who think they're red pilled, they're gonna turn on us, and that's how they're gonna, eliminate the truth movement going into the future. It's gonna be from within our own ranks, turning on each other, because the majority is so low IQ they can't see the propaganda mind control that they're being hit with, directing them to turn on each other. So all right, that's enough of that rant. Let's continue.
Here is Clay Clark. There you go. Any chance any of you think that might be a little masonry in there somewhere? A bit of Illuminati? A little bit of, whatever you like. What do you reckon? The DJ, organizer, ecstasy dealer, drug money launderer. Just watch your K. Griggs, then look at Clay Clark, look at his history, look who he is, look what he does. Hanging out with churches. What's the beauty of these churches? All hardcore Zionist, Israeli First churches. A friend of mine went to one, and he said, someone said Israel, and the crowd booed, and he screamed, "Silence!" I thought, oh my God, please tell me you got that on camera. He said, no, I didn't have my video, I didn't have my camera out. Another friend went, and a sister of a colonel, the briefing staff of General Milley, and says they run up and down with these cameras just filming everyone. It's spooky, it's freaky, it's weird. Because they're all involved with Israel, they're all getting names, dates, faces, you're registering, and above all, you launder your drug money through this system. That's why General Flynn's there. We've got Green Berets, Special Forces people we're talking to are over there in Iraq and Afghanistan, showing all the drug money laundering, the full-blown criminal scams, the murder of American troops, and so on and so forth. And we'll be talking with those people very, very soon. Because you run up with your $1 million, you put it in a brown paper bag, you bang on the door, and then you run away. Clay Clark walks out and goes, oh my goodness, $1 million, a faithful servant of the Lord, the Archangel Michael has descended and left this money for us. Oh, I'm sorry, IRS, we don't know who it is. Number one, it's tax-free, and number two, it's just a beautiful donor, sticking to the word of the Bible, a lantern unto his feet, that he wishes to remain anonymous. Oh, yeah, and he deals in cash. Cold, hard cash. Don't they, Clay? My little ecstasy dealer, my little DJ. Go, DJ. Go, DJ. We're going to Ibiza this summer.
Okay, so just a quick comment on that photo. If you ever see a magazine cover or anything like that with the celebrity's face and then the one eye's closed, or the hand over the one eye, that's clearly that they're part of the game. They're playing ball. Well, there's your man, Reawaken America, Clay Clark, on, I guess, Boom Magazine. That's an obvious photo there with his one eye covered. What more can you say? That's not a coincidence that they do that one eye covered for everyone that's, participating in the game and manipulating you. So there, Clay Clark's part of it. I had another point and I just forgot it. Shoot. I let Brendan talk too long that I forgot my comment there. It was something about another coincidence, or not coincidence, but signal that if you get a high level production value movie made after you, or you actually get a Hollywood level movie made after you, you're part of the club. You're playing the game. Let's take Edward Snowden. You got a movie made after him. Alex Jones, even though this ain't an actual, I think, Hollywood movie, but now he got a movie with him, Alex's War. I can't think of other ones off the top of my head, but if you get a movie made after you, you're not a genuine, crusader or whatever you're publicly known for. You're part of the game when they make a movie after you. And when you get your face on a magazine cover with the one eye covered, you're part of the game. You're not a crusader.
Come on, everybody. Can I get an amen? Can I get it? These are all Julianne Romanello's new friends. We'll read her text and we'll read her email to me, what I said to her. So he's now in with Alex Jones, the LLC. They're all LLCs and they're all working together. Alex Jones has got no money. He says, I'm only earning $800,000 a day. That's how much he made, $800,000 in one day. In one day. Let's read this article and we'll get on to Clay Clark, General Michael Flynn and Julianne Romanello and her texts and stuff. Finally, you'll work it out. I never believed she'd dip this low. Never. Alex Jones' lawyers accidentally leak years of emails. InfoWars financial documents are revealed in court. A lawyer for two parents suing Jones said the emails show that InfoWars at one point in 2018 was making over $800,000 per day. And Socrates never denied it. We don't have much money. I don't have hardly any money. I heard he was making $50 million a year. I thought that was turnover. Now I realize, no, that's profit. But he doesn't own this. Steve Pachenik of Goldman Sachs owns those LLCs. Steve Pachenik and Goldman Sachs own Dr. Group and that whole nutraceutical circle. Mike Adams, the whole lot of them are owned. They are subsidiaries of Steve Pachenik's company, i.e. Heinz Kissinger, Goldman Sachs. That's where all this is going. So Alex Jones probably doesn't have that money. He's just another front of this foundation system, this drug money laundering system they have. I guarantee you the same studios, the same equipment. As Bergie said, I thought I was at a military contractor. I said all the equipment's just like they use at the military contractors for the military studios. I guarantee you it's the same stuff they use at all the evangelical churches with their $1 million studios and the same stuff they use at Alex Jones. They're all drug money laundering and you know the story. They're all sexual deviants, whack jobs, coke addicts, popping Adderalls every day and hanging out with other multi-millionaire journalistic dissidents like Joe Rogan, all doing it hard, truly suffering. We await their memoir. Perhaps they were suckled by wolves in a cave to keep themselves alive. We don't know, but we've all worked out. Alex Jones, I defended up until about 2017, 2018, because I said, look, he's a gateway drug, he's an idiot, but I've used his stuff to good effect, particularly Dr. Steve Pachenik, when he did Israel, did 9/11, and did a whole thing about it. I used that to good effect and got 5 direct replies from members of parliament in Australia. However, each year after 2016, 17, and when Donald Trump got in, Jones got more and more ridiculous. He was taking more and more drugs and making a bigger fool of himself. I heard, basically we had people in there and they said he wants out, they won't let him out. He wanted rid of Roger Stone. He can't get rid of Roger Stone. Roger Stone has compromising pictures of Alex Jones. Alex Jones hangs out on his ranch with hookers galore. That's where he met his wife, Erica Wolf. Alex Jones hangs out with like the head Boeing engineer who designed the F-18 Hornet. He's in deep with the Eric Prince private security contractor, i.e. Goldman Sachs, i.e. East India Trading Company crew. He's desperate to get out. He can't get out because you're in an organised crime group, Alex, and you're a piece of shit, which we all know. I don't agree.
All right, so that's that clip from Brendan there. Yeah, he makes some claims about Alex. Now, are they true or not? I can't say for sure. But if Brendan is an asset, and he, is being handled part of these operations, then he might have been given this privy information to put out, to work, against Alex, to bolster Brendan's credibility in the crowd, an audience that he entertains. So, yeah, I'd probably say, probably more likely than not, that stuff about Alex is true. So, even with Alex's handlers, with Roger Stone, and which brings to the next video, the January 6th, and I said Alex was a major, part of carrying that operation out. Well, Alex's right-hand man, Roger Stone, he's the one that created modern lobbying, I think. And Roger was there on January 6th, ready to carry this operation out. There's video of him talking about, how's it going to go today? Are we going to win? And you can tell by his demeanor that they were getting ready to do something that day. There was something going down. And it was duping everyone, to bum rush the Capitol. That way they could portray it as an insurgency in the media and demonize the right. And here is Alex getting everyone revved up that day. And I want to point out that Alex is playing the Jeebus card. Now, I know a lot of folks out there, there's a lot of Christians, Catholic, Christian, believing in Jesus. Take a step back and think on a higher level outside of the box about Christianity and the religion. There is many good points to suggest that the religion is not quite accurate. Adam Green does a lot of good coverage, into Christianity is kind of a psyop, and there's a lot of good points that are made. A lot of good points that Christianity was created by, Jews. That they created this whole prophecy and rivalry and just the whole thing. And, whether it's completely accurate or not, in my opinion, the 5 major religions, they were all created to control populations. So, in my opinion, they're created just to control people. The details of their creation, how, I'm not 100% sure. But I just, thinking on a higher level, and the fact that they've spanned, 2,000 years, man-made, they are not what they seem to be. And do not let your belief, or your supposed belief, or your desired belief in them control your thinking. Do not let the religion manipulate you. Take a step back and think higher. Because people get caught in this this Jeebus card. I call it, when the alternative media truthers play the Jeebus card. And people fall for it hook, line, and sinker. Especially the Bible. I'm sorry to say, but the Bible is not God's word. It's not. It was written by man. It's been translated numerous times. It's been changed numerous times. And then it's been changed again numerous times. And what supposedly the people wrote that is included in the Bible, they were not given that information by God. God didn't sit down and give them a lecture and then they recorded it. Okay, look into the Bible, the chapters, the people who wrote, the sections, and the evidence points that most of the Bible is kind of a sham. And it is definitely not the Word of God. So I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but there's way too many Jeebus freaks out there and way too many Bible thumpers. Where it's, quote the Bible this, the Bible that, the Bible, the Word of God, the Word of God. I mean, it's kind of pathetic. Like, it's low IQ humdrum. You're not willing to think higher. You double down. You double down in cognitive dissonance. So, anybody playing the Jeebus card, take a step back and ask yourself why. Why are they playing the Jeebus card? Because they want people like the, right-wing Christians, the Bible thumpers, they want them to believe them. They want them to trust them. That's why they play the Jeebus card. And it is highly successful. And we're going to watch right here, Alex Jones playing the Jeebus card. And I'm going to tell you right now, Alex Jones is not a religious man. He is not a good, honest Christian. He is doing this to manipulate that crowd. He is doing it because he knows it is effective. The intelligence agencies know it is effective. That's why he is doing this. Let's watch.
Jesus Christ!
Okay, now here's Alex Jones. Alex Jones, who promoted QAnon big time early on, the big Zionist disinformation gatekeeper propagandist. This is him at the Stop the Steal Jericho march.
Jesus Christ is King.
Christian-controlled opposition.
And rose up Donald Trump to stand against the enemy and draw out the enemy. So as dark...
Hold on. God gave us Donald Trump. And Jones has been saying this since before he got elected.
And God gave us and rose up Donald Trump to stand against the enemy and draw out the enemy. So as dark as some of these days are, understand this is the beginning of the great revival before the Antichrist comes. World government, implantable microchips, Satanism, it's out of the open. The Bible is fulfilled. Revelation is fulfilled. Jesus Christ is fulfilled. God Almighty is in charge, and we follow that mighty God.
All of the right-wing Christian Zionists like Alex Jones, this is how Zionism has the powers, because the Christians are all believers or pretend to be believers. It's the key to their power. Moronic, hateful anti-Semitism, and Christian Zionist slaves.
But more importantly, we pray for President Donald John Trump in this incredibly serious moment. But real men like President Trump.
He also he has a rant where he says real men can't be bought like me, Alex Jones, and Matt Drudge, and who else did he list? Netanyahu. He said Netanyahu's a real good guy, and so is Trump and Putin. Just like all the QAnon people, that's the axis of good guys, the allies, the white hats.
Who has fought hard for our republic? Who's fought hard for justice? Who's done the best job he can? And because he has represented us, he is under attack. So we hold up President Trump before the creator of the universe.
Jones is like a carnival barking huckster televangelist con artist. Kosher conspiracy king. The kosher king of kosher conspiracies.
And we say thank you for trying to send us a deliverer, though he's imperfect.
Deliverer means Messiah.
As we are, but we pray for him, and we pray for America, and we hold him up in this hour of peril.
The prophecies of Mark Taylor, who in
Alex Jones is promoting the firefighter prophet. So did True News.
2011 was documented in 2012 in major Christian magazines predicting that Donald J. Trump would become the 45th president of the United States and that it would signal a major global revival. Now, I've talked to so many great pastors that I really respect.
Zionists.
Like Rodney Howard-Browne and others, and they've talked about this fact. And now that you see Trump delivering on the mass arrest of pedophiles worldwide, delivering on the return of our republic, standing up for Christian rights, it is unprecedented. You have the Pope, who's not a real Catholic, but a Jesuit globalist, openly calling for the end of Christianity, open borders to Islam, not defending Christians being slaughtered all over Africa and the Middle East. This is biblical time.
Biblical times. Trump is the biblical savior, says Alex Jones, who is one of the most influential broadcasters in the world.
Time.
Come back soon.
Okay, here's...
All right. So... that was Jones playing the Jeebus card. And that is highly effective. When Jones does that, the people gobble it up. Oh, give me more Jeebus. Tell me more Jeebus fairy tales. Oh, I can't get enough. Yes. Trump was sent here from God. Jeebus sent him to save us. Pathetic, people. Absolutely pathetic. Like, I'm sad that people fall for that nonsense. Like Adam Green said, he is a huckster Zionist gatekeeping shill. One of the most influential truth news hosts out there. And there's a reason he's at that, status, because it was intended, because he's an asset. It is so clear, people, you got to wake up past Alex Jones. If you can't get past Alex Jones, we're not gonna succeed, and we're gonna be slaves in the future. Your children and your children's children will be slaves, digital slaves. and there's no hope. All because we're such low IQ idiots that we can't see past Alex Jones and, fight for our freedom, on a higher level. It's it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I don't know what else to do but keep making these videos and keep pointing it out. And hopefully, you know, hopefully that some people will start, to realize and start to question and go, huh, he has some very good points here. I'm gonna look at things differently from now on, or look deeper in the topics, or do more research, or something. We got to do something, and it's not Alex Jones. And another one that kills me with the Jeebus card is Richie from Boston, or Richie from Langley, as I like to call him. He was the absolute worst playing the Jeebus card. And, if his subscribers are real and not all bots, because his comments sections are always sanitized, you couldn't give one speck of dissidence against Richie from Langley without it getting wiped clean. And everything on there was just praising him and praising Jeebus. So likely there was a lot of intelligence bots backing Richie, but always playing the Jeebus card. And, live chat and stuff, they just gobbled it up. Oh, God bless you, Richie. And then Richie, oh, I'm on my knees every night, servicing Jeebus. Always dropping to my knees. What bullshit. I'm so glad that he's mostly gone from the truth community, because I'll be honest, Richie from Langley and his channel and stuff on YouTube, it was the absolute most low IQ content I've seen in the truth community. I honestly think it was the most low IQ. And the fact that so many people liked him, it's, what's that say, people? What does that say about the truth community, en masse? It says we're a bunch of idiots, that we can't see the propaganda they're giving to us. We are literally turning into the movie Idiocracy. If you haven't seen the movie Idiocracy, go find it, download it, stream it, watch it. That is how dumb our populace is becoming. And that's dumb. Do you know how easy it is to control dumb people like that? It's very easy. Let's turn that movement around. Let's start becoming higher thinking, higher thought, more intelligent beings that we're capable of, and start standing up for ourselves. Let's not let this 24/7, 99% controlled propaganda, define our thinking. Let's not let it define our reality. Don't take the red pill. Don't take the blue pill. Don't take the black pill. Don't get caught up in the purple pill. Find the gold pill that lets you see all this clearly. We need it. We need to find the gold pill. Things are not looking good. And we don't have that much time left. They just keep inching closer and closer. I don't even want to know, what's going to go down, in this next presidency. God forbid Trump gets in there again. And God forbid DeSantis gets in there. Even though DeSantis has been doing a lot of good things for Florida, he is still a complete Zionist cuck shill who always takes trips to Israel to sign legislation to, protect the chosen people. He's not the answer. Playing the game is not the answer. The system is broken, and it can't be fixed. It reminds me of a quote from Pockets of the Future channel, who Paul does the heartfulness practice, and one of the masters, I think it was Babaji, said a quote, and it was, I can't remember it, but it was like something, the current things cannot be changed, and the current system like cannot be fixed. Something along those lines. I wish I knew it because it spells it out perfectly. Like, we can't change what's going to happen, and the current system can't be fixed. So I don't know how we're going to correct things, but the beast system as it sits cannot be corrected and it cannot be fixed. So playing the game and getting political is not going to accomplish anything. I don't know how we get out of this, and I don't know, what kind of system we use in place of it. But what I do know is the current, beast system is not the answer, and it cannot be reformed. So I got to wrap this up here. Everyone, move past Alex Jones. Move past all these propaganda agents, the IIA operations. The IIA operations have their finger in almost everything alternative media. They co-opt everything. Anything that threatens their control and power, they co-opt and veer off track. Devon Stack, Blackpilled, he's been doing a good series on Odyssey of the PatCon operations. And they've been doing this clear back before internet. Any right-wing conservative, they wanted to go back to the actual, what the Constitution was based on, supporting, good white conservative values. They co-opt and they run it right into the ground. And they have operations laid out to do this. It's fact. This is factual, documented stuff. Go find Blackpilled on Odyssey and watch his PatCon. I think he's on number 2 or number 3 now. And I think he has another 1 or 2 coming. The Ruby Ridge, the Waco, the Oklahoma City bombing. All this. They infiltrate, run it into the ground, use it for their own means, carry out operations, to pass legislation. It's all the controllers, the intelligence agencies, the powers that be. They manipulate all of this. This was before the internet. The OKC bombing. McVeigh was an asset. That bomb could not, do the blast that it did. It was controlled explosives. Just like another very big event around the turn of the century with controlled explosives. Now that it's the digital age, why would anyone think that it's different? They have control of the digital realm. They're running, hijacked the truth movement, got rid of everyone genuine, and now what left is their operation, and they're running it into the ground, making sure that we gain no traction. You have to realize this. You have to take a step back. You have to get perspective on this. And that's what I mean by being gold-pilled. So, the only decent, genuine person in alternative media that I see at the moment is The Last American Vagabond, Ryan Christian, and his channel. And granted, he has a lot of connections to other alternative media that I consider IIA operations. So I even question The Last American Vagabond. But as for his channel and his news shows that he does, the daily wrap-ups, they seem pretty genuine to me. But his connections and other stuff to other people, questionable. I question everything. But he's about the most honest source for information. And the only honest source that I see. Anyone else to me comes off as a limited hangout operation where you get some truth, but then you get a bullshit narrative designed to steer you off course. And I guess the other person that comes off as genuine is Paul, Pockets of the Future, and Apocalypse Now. But he's not a genuine, covering the news media. He's just a guy, giving his point of view. But it's a genuine point of view, And he's pretty on target with most things. And he's on target where he believes Alex Jones is an asset to the highest degree. So, all right, folks, wake up, take the gold pill. I don't know what else to say. I'll try to come back here with some more content and start picking the alternative media apart, because that was the initial intention of my channel. I didn't start this channel to cover, the same news, the same current events like everyone else. I started this to call out the alternative media for what they are, and that is more IIA operations to deceive you, to distract you, to veer you off course, to keep you from gaining traction, to keep you from finding the gold pill. So, as I see more BS being spewed in the alternative media, I will continue to point it out. Hopefully it doesn't go another month, but this next week here, I'm going to be doing the manifold job. So I allowed myself a few days just in case get into trouble with getting those broken studs out and whatnot. So I'm not sure when I'll be back, but I will be back. Take care, everybody. Find the gold pill. Peace.